Hare Krishna. So again, we welcome for our Srimad Bhagavatam sessions. So after our Narasimha Nirajanam, we had the short session of Upadeshamrita. And now we are going to continue Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 1. And yesterday we had a glance at an overview of complete Srimad Bhagavatam and also what are the topics covered in Canto 8. So on a high level, there are 3 topics which are discussed in the Canto 8. And apart from that, the main theme is to discuss about the Manus, who are the administrators of this universe. So the 3 main topics or the 3 main pastimes which happen in this Canto 8 are first the Gajendra Moksham. So that will be in the 2, 3 and 4 chapters. And later we have the Samudra Manthan pastime. And later we have one more pastime. First, we will get into the Canto 8, which is the withdrawal of cosmic creations. This is the title given by Srila Prabhupada. And before that, we will start with Mangalacharna prayers as usual. So these are specific to Srimad Bhagavatam, and we will recite this before getting started with our Srimad Bhagavatam session. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet shrinvatam swakata krishnaha punyashravana kirtanaha hridyantastohya badrani vidunoti suhritsatam. So these 2 verses are generally recited before Srimad Bhagavatam. We have one more verse. So we'll just read the translation, so that because this is the first time, we will just read the translation, and going forward, we will just read the verses. So, Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye. So before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is very means of contest, so this verse is part of Bhagavatam itself. So as we can see, Srimad Bhagavatam 1 to 4. So this is very means of conquest. One should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Naranarayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. So Devim, Saraswatim, Vyasam. So all are present. So we need to offer our respectful obeisances in order to speak or hear this Srimad Bhagavatam in right mood. And Shrinvatam Swakata Krishna Punyashravana Kirtana Hridyantastyo Bhadrani Vidnoti Satam. It says Krishna, Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment for the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So generally we have many questions saying how to cleanse our heart. So this verse has the answer. If we regularly recite here Bhagavatam, then our desire for this material enjoyment will get cleansed. So this is one more. Nashtaprayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttyamasloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So these are the verses which were said before starting this Srimad Bhagavatam by Sukadeva Goswami. So here it says, by regular attendance in classes, it means by regularly hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and rendering to the service of pure devotees. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. What happens? So our troublesomes in the heart will get destroyed, and the loving service unto the personality of Godhead is established. And that is a irrevocable fact. So that is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam itself. In this chapter 8.1, Canto 8, Chapter 1, these are the sections. So quickly, I'll just run through. In the previous canto, it has been detailedly explained about Swayambhuva Manu. And in his descendants, all the discussion started. And even the Prahlad Maharaj story, whatever we saw, everything was part of that. After hearing that, Parikshit Maharaj again questions, can you please explain me for the further manus also? So that is how this canto starts. And later, Sukadeva Goswami starts explaining about manus. So 4 to 8, Swayambhuva Manus, renunciation and austerities. So Swayambhuva Manu is the first Manu of the 14 Manus, and how he got renunciation and what is the type of austerities he performed. Later, how he prayed to the Lord. So when he's performing austerities, how he has exactly his prayers. So we had heard the Prahlad Maharaj prayers. Similarly, here we'll have Swayambhuva Manu's prayers. And later, activities of Lord Yagna. We'll see who is Lord Yagna and description of the first 4 manvantras. So after explaining this, Sukadeva Goswami explains about the first 4 manvantras. So we will see what exactly is an manvantara, what exactly are the parts which manvantara consists, which we need to discuss, and we will have a tabular format of what we are going to have a summary of this chapter. And later, when about this 4 manvantras, when Sukadeva Goswami was explaining, in the last verse, it says, he says, Lord Hari came to save Gajendra. Based on this verse, Parikshit has an eagerness, saying, who is that Gajendra and how did Lord save him? That is the questions of Parikshit Maharaj, which are the last 3 verses. So based on this question, again, the next 3 chapters, which are specific to Gajendra Moksham, will be recited. So those are very much important topics or important sections in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Gajendra Moksham, that we will be seeing in the further sessions. So we will get started. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Rajo Vacha Swayambhuvasyeha Guru Vamsho Yam Vistarachrutaha Yatra Vishwasrijam Sargo Manunanyan Vadasvanaha. So here, King Parikshit says, oh my Lord. So who is that Lord? That spiritual master, Sukadeva Goswami. King Parikshit is asking Sukadeva Goswami, oh my Lord, my spiritual master. Now I have fully heard from your grace about the dynasty of Swayambhuva Manu. But there are also other Manus. I want to hear about their dynasties. Kindly describe them to us. So he's asking, there are different Manus. I have already heard from you about Swayambhuva Manu. Can you please explain me the other Manus and their dynasties also? In that process, he again, so the first 3 questions, 3 verses are part of the same question. Manvantare harer janma karmani cha mahishayah grinanti kavayo brahmam staninu vadashrinvatam. O learned Brahmana, Sukadeva Goswami, the great learned persons who are completely intelligent, describe the activities and appearance of Supreme Personality of Godhead during various manvantaras. We are very eager to hear about these narrations. Kindly describe them. So here, what is he saying? The great learned persons who are intelligent describe the activities and appearance of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So even in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Sri Krishna says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha. So whoever is intelligent, they will try to understand my Janma and Karma. So they will, whoever understands my birth and my transcendental activities, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mamiti suarjuna. So he will never take rebirth again. So the same thing he is asking here. So he is asking the activities and appearance of Supreme Personality of Godhead and in various manvantras. So he is very, very eager to hear about this narration. So whenever we want to learn or hear Lord's pastimes, that eagerness should be there in our mind. So what are all the different varieties of incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? We will quickly see. So all these incarnations are specific to the material world only. So whenever Lord has entered into the material world, the first avatars are called as Purushavasaras. So here at the top we can see one, the Purushavasaras. So the first three are Purushavasaras, and later we have Leelavataras, Gunavataras, Yugavataras, Manvantaravasaras, and Shaktaveshavasaras. So the Purushavasaras are the expansions of Lord Krishna and in turn Lord Balram into this material world as Vishnu. So first expansion is Mahavishnu. As we can see in the image, we have Mahavishnu lying in the causal ocean, and from him Brahmandas come out. So whoever is the Vishnu from whom Brahmandas come out is known as Mahavishnu, or also Karanodakasai Vishnu. So he is the Karana, he is the cause for everything. And in each and every Brahmanda, whatever the balls here we are seeing, those are universes. And each of that universe will have Garbhodaksai Vishnu. And from him, Lord Brahma will be sprouting. From his navel, a lotus will be sprouting, and in that, Lord Brahma takes birth. And later, the secondary creation was created by Lord Brahma. Garbhodaksai Vishnu is that Vishnu who has Lakshmi Devi with him, and from whom the lotus sprouts, from whose navel the lotus sprouts. So he is known as Garbhodaksai Vishnu. And after that entire material world is set up, all the living entities are there. Kshirodaksai Vishnu, who is the Paramatma, and Kshirodaksai Vishnu accompanies each and every living entity. So he is the Paramatma. So these three avatars are called as Purushavasaras. And Leela avatars are specific to performing some Leela. As we can see, the four Kumaras are there, Naranarayan Rishi is there, Dattatreya, Hayashirsha. So there are many Leela avatars. Those are specific to performing some particular Leela. And Guna avatars. So we all know that we have three gunas: mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. And Lord himself expands into Lord Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. So whenever we think that Lord Brahma and Shiva are independent, right? No, it is not like that. Lord Krishna himself expands into Vishnu, and he himself expands into Lord Brahma, Vishnu, and again Shiva. So these three are Gunavataras. So each one will be taking care of one type of guna. And we have the Yuga avatars. We have 4 yugas, and for those 4 yugas, we have Yuga avatars. And in this Kali Yuga, it is mentioned as Krishna Varnam Tisa Krishnam Sangopangasya Parshadam. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is mentioned as the Kali Yuga avatara. And we have Manvantara avatars. So this is what we are discussing in this particular canto. So we have the Manvantara avatars. For each, so we will have 14 Manvantara in a day of Brahma. That is also that we will see in detail in the next slide. So for each of those 14 Manvantaras, we have 14 different avatars of the Supreme Lord. So for each Manvantara, we have one incarnation of the Lord. And later, Shaktavesha avatars. Avesha is a living entity, and Shaktavesha avatara is a living entity who has specifically empowered for doing some specific Lord service. As we can see, Narada Muni, he is a living entity, but he became son of Lord Brahma, and he is empowered with knowledge by Lord himself, and he got all the knowledge from Lord Brahma. So a living entity who is specifically empowered by the Lord is known as Shaktya Vaishavataras. So Sheshnaga, Anantadeva, Lord Brahma, and following so on. So these are all the different varieties of incarnations of Lord in this material universe. So these are only specific to this material universe. Let us move forward. Now, the most important thing is, if someone claims that he is an incarnation of the Supreme God, or he himself is a God, then if he is mentioned in the Shastras, yes, we can accept. If he is not mentioned in the Shastras, we can right away reject it, because whenever this Srimad Bhagavatam or all the Shastras were compiled, those were 5,000 years before. Even 5,000 years before, it was predicted that where Lord Buddha will take birth, and who were his parents, and where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will take birth, who are his parents. So our Shastras will have the information of past, present, as well as future also. So the next Avatara is the Kalki Avatara. So we have all the information in the Shastras. If someone is not there mentioned as the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the Shastras, we can right away reject him as a bogus person who is claiming himself to be a God. So this is the last verse which Parikshit Maharaj puts forward in his questions. Yadyasminnantare Brahman Bhagavan Vishwabhavanah Kritavan Kurute Karta Hyatite Nagate Dyava. O learned Brahmana, kindly describe to us whatever the activities the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who created this cosmic manifestation, has performed in the past Manvantaras, is performing at present, and will perform in the future Manvantaras also. So in this question, he is saying that what Lord has already done, and what Lord is performing at present, and what Lord is going to perform. So he knows that the great people, the great knowledgeable people, they know about Lord's past, present, and future. So for this 3 questions, now Sukadeva Goswami answers. Shri Rishir Uvacha Manavosmin Vyatita Sat Kalpe Swayam Bhuvadayaha Adyaste Katito Yatra Devadinam Cha Sambhavaha. Sukadeva Goswami said, in the present Kalpa, there have already been 6 Manus. So now we are into 7th Manu. I have described to you Swayambhuva Manu and the appearance of many demigods. In this Kalpa of Brahma, Swayambhuva Manu is the first Manu. So here in this verse, we see a few things saying what there is a word Kalpa, and we need to understand what is Manvantara. So in order to understand these words, now we will quickly see what exactly is Yuga, what is Chaturyuga, what is Kalpa, what is Manvantara. Because without understanding this, if we try to go forward in this chapter, we will get confused. So first we will see what is Yuga. So a life of Brahma has 100 years, but that 100 years are not our 100 years. It is relative to his 100 years. Now, the Yuga is specific to this right bottom small portion, says Kali Yuga. And there is one more Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga and Satya Yuga. As we all know, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali Yuga. But the duration of Kali Yuga, when we see, the Dwapara Yuga is double of Kali Yuga, and Treta Yuga is double of Dwapara Yuga. Similarly, Satya Yuga is double of Treta Yuga. So in only Kali Yuga has 4,32,000 years. So we are just living at max for 100 years if we are hale and healthy. Now, Kali Yuga has 4,32,000 years. So if we can imagine, that is a very, very long duration. Now, that doubles for the previous, that doubles for the previous, that doubles for the previous. So, entire these 4 yugas are called as a Divya Yuga or a Chatur Yuga. Now, these 4 set of yugas are, so if you put this 4 set of yugas 71 times, then that will be a single Manvantara. So now we have seen what is yuga, what is Chatur Yuga. Now this Manvantara is 71 times cycles of this Divya Yugas, not Yuga, Divya Yugas. Now this 71 times when it happens, now we will, on top of that, we have this day of Brahma. Now we have seen what is Manvantara. Now a single day of Brahma has 14 Manvantaras. So we know what is Manvantara. Now 14 Manvantaras will be a single Kalpa. Yeah, so the 14 Manvantras will be a single Kalpa, and that Kalpa is a day of Brahma. It is not even full day, it is just one day. And similar duration is night of Brahma. So that much long Lord Brahma lives, and this Kalpa is only one single day. One more Kalpa becomes one night. These 2 kalpas will have 1 day for Brahma. In that sense, he lives 100 years of his lifetime. So even in order to imagine the day of Brahma, it is out of our imagination. So these are the terminologies. So first we have Kalpa. Kalpa is divided into 14 Manvantaras. Each Manvantara is 71 Divya Yugas. And each Divya Yuga has 4 yugas. And in that, the last yuga is Kali Yuga, where we all are now. In that, only 5,000 years has been passed, and still lot of years are there. Now, how fortunate we are, let us see. Now, there are 14 Manvantras. In these 14 Manvantras, Lord Krishna comes himself as only once. So that one time when Lord Krishna descends as himself happened in our Manvantara only. So only in the 7th Manvantara, only at the end or this Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga, in this portion, Lord Krishna descended himself. So there are many other Manvantaras which is very, very long duration. But because we are so fortunate, this Manvantara, this Divya Yuga has the appearance of Lord Krishna happened. I hope now everyone is good with this terminology. What is Manvantara? What is Kalpa? What is Chatur Yuga? And what is Yuga? Now we will see what exactly Manvantara is. So in the coming few verses. Akutyam devahutyam cha duhitrostasya vai manoh dharma gnanopadeshartham bhagavan putratam gataha. Swayambhu Manu had 2 daughters. So the first Manu, so as we saw, there are 14 Manvantras. In that, first Manu is Swayambhu Manu. He had 2 daughters named as Akuti and Devahuti. From their wombs, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared as 2 sons. One is Yagnamurti and Kapila. So Kapila is the son of Devahuti. Yagnamurti is the son of Akuti. These sons were entrusted with preaching about religion and knowledge. So we have already, so the teachings of Kapila Muni to his mother Devahuti is described detailedly in Canto 3, and even Srila Prabhupada has written a book called Teachings of Lord Kapila. So if someone is interested, they can get that book and read. Kapila is incarnation of Supreme Lord himself. कृतं पुरा भगवतः कपिलस्यानुवर्णितम् आख्यासे भगवान् यज्ञो यच्चक्राकुरुत्वः. O best of the Kurus, I have already described in the third canto the activities of Kapila, the son of Devahuti. So in third canto, he has already explained. Now I shall describe the activities of Yagnapati, who is the son of Akuti. So one daughter's son, Devahuti's son is Kapila. The activities have been already discussed in third chapter. The another's daughters of Swayambhuva Manu is Akuti and his son is Yagnapati. So he is going to explain the activities of Yagnapati. So Kapila and Yagnapati both are incarnations of the Supreme Lord himself. Now, what exactly is the speciality of a Manvantara? In Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th canto, 7th chapter and 15th verse, it is said, Manvantaram Manurdeva Manuputra Sureshwaraha Rishayo Amsha Avatarascha Harer Shadvidam Uchyate. So there are 6 types of personalities appear as manifestations of Lord Hari. So all these manifestations are of Lord Hari himself. And in each Manvantara, these 6 types of people appear. Who are those 6 types? One is the ruling Manu. So in that sense, it was the Swayambhuva Manu. There was chief demigods and the sons of Manu in order to continue the generations. And Indra. Indra is a post. Indra is not a person. So as we have Prime Minister post, Indra is a post. Brahma is a post. Shiva is a post. Everything is a post in this material world. And the great sages, so all the Saptarishis, they are also one of the 6 types of personalities and the partial incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these are the Manvantara avatars. So in each Manvantara, Lord will be coming in particular activity. So Manu is the person who re-establishes, because once this 4 Chatur-yugas and everything that Manvantara is done, everything get collapsed or everything get restarted. So this person, he re-establishes the 4 parts of Dharma on the earth. So what is that 4 parts of Dharma? That is occupational duties. So this we have discussed in 7th canto. Devaha, the demigods. So whatever we perform, the sacrifices in this world, Devaha, they share the results of the sacrifices. Manu, they discharge the orders of the Lord and they enjoy the results of the sacrifices. So we do activities, the karma kanda activities. With that, devas will get pleased. So we share the results, but they are being enjoyed by the Manuputras. Sura Ishwaraha, this is the post of Indra. So in each Manvantara, who will be becoming Indra? That is also we are going to see. Now, Indra is the one who enjoys the opulence of 3 worlds, and he is the maintainer of all living entities by pouring the rains. Because with this Yagnach or this life cycle of this people, or which is explained in the Bhagavad Gita, so the rain comes, by that the seeds get transferred into the trees or again the animals, and again they will be performing sacrifices, and again the sacrifices by which it will be get pleased to the demigods. Again, when they are happy, again they will send back their activities. So Indra pours rain, by which this entire our life and everyone's life is continuing. If rain stops, food stops, everyone will get exhausted, destroyed. Rishayaha, the Saptarishis. So at the end of every Chatur Yuga, they re-establish Sanatan Dharma, because Satya Yuga, everyone was pious. The pious percentage decreases, and at the end of Kali Yuga, there will be no pious activities. No one will be following any dharma. Everything is irreligious. So the Lord comes himself as Lord Kalki, cleans up everything, and again, so the Lord has that reset button in his hand. So he resets, and again 7 sages, they re-establish Sanatana Dharma, and again the Satya Yuga starts. Amsha Avataraha. So appoints the other 5 type personalities. So these are the incarnations of the Supreme Lord, and this Avatara will be establishing all the other posts. Now, whatever is explained earlier, like we had that Amshavatara, Kapila and Yajna. So we are going to prepare this table for all the Manvantara Avataras explained in this chapter. So in the first Manvantara Avatara, Manu is Swayambhuva Manu. Devaha are Yamas. This is created by Daksha. This is in the previous verse. Who are the Manusputras? So Swayambhuva Manu has 2 daughters, 2 sons. Akuti, 3 daughters. Akuti, Devahuti, Prasuti, Uttanapada and Priyavrata. So in that Uttanapada, Priyavrata are Manuputras. Sura Ishwaraha, Indra is Yajna, and he is the same as Rishayaha Marichi, headed by Marichi. So Saptarishis will be there. Who will be heading that? Marichi will be heading that. And Amsha Avataras, as discussed in the previous verse, Kapila and Yajna are the Amsha Avataras. And what is the Lord's activities? They both taught religion and knowledge. And this Lord Yajna kills demons. We will see in the chapter in the next few verses. What was the reason why he killed demons? We will see. So Sukadeva Goswami continues. Viraktah kama bhogeshu shetarupa pati prabhu visrijya rajyam tapase sabharyo vanamavisat. So as we have seen in the previous chapter, once a person is done with his duties, he will be taking vanaprastha. Here, even the person who is the first, or the person who prepares the law book, he himself is taking vanaprastha. So Swayambhuva Manu, the husband of Shetarupa, was by nature not at all attached to the enjoyment of senses. So he who owns the everything in this Manvantara, that person is not attached to the enjoyment of senses. Thus, he gave up his kingdom of sense enjoyment and entered the forest with his wife to practice austerities. So he took vanaprastha. And what he has done? He started doing austerities. Sunandayam varshasatam padaikena bhuvam sprishan tapyamanas tapogoram idam anbaha bharata. Was kind of Bharata, after Swayambhuva Manu had thus entered the forest with his wife, he stood on one leg on the bank of river Sunanda, and in this way, only on one leg touching the earth, he performed great austerities for 100 years. While performing these austerities, he spoke as follows. So, Swayambhuva Manu with his wife went to the forest and he started doing tapasya. So, even the Manu, they are great, perfect kings. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita also by Lord Krishna. He says, Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu sakalene hamata yogo nashta parantapa. So the knowledge he has explained to the Manus, and they are rajarshis. So they are perfect kings. So after their activities, they do the activities of rishis, Raja rishis, the saintly kings. So we have seen what are the Swayambhuva Manu's activities, or how he went to the forest and what is he performing. So now, while performing the austerity, he starts the prayers to that Supreme Lord. We will see the prayers. Srimanurvacha Yena chetayate vishvam vishvam chetayate nayam yojagarati shayanesmin nayam tam veda veda saha. Lord Manu said, the Supreme Living Being has created this material world of animation. It is not that he was created by this material world. When everything is silent, the Supreme Being stays awake as witness. The living entity does not know him, but he knows everything. So here he starts glorifying the Lord. So this continues for next few verses. The first point which he is saying is Lord is transcendental to matter. So he has created this material world of animation, but he is transcendental to that. We are part of that animation, but Lord is not part of that animation. And Lord stays awake as witness. So we have that dreaming what characteristics. So we all have that dreaming characteristics. One is even we dream while we are awake, so the daydreaming. And second, we dream while we are sleeping. So, and we dream. So there are one more dream when all the living entities enter into Mahavishnu. So that is a different kind of dreaming. So these are all explained in the purports of Srila Prabhupada. You can get into that. Atmavasyam idam vishwam yatkinchid jagatrayam jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bunjita magrida kasya svidhanam. Within this universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his super soul feature is present everywhere. So as Paramatma, he is present everywhere. Wherever there are animate or inanimate beings, therefore, one should accept only that which is allotted to him. One should not desire to infringe upon the property of others. So here it is said, Lord is present everywhere and he has allotted whatever one is supposed to get. And one should not take the property of others. So in turn, it says, the Lord is the supreme proprietor of everything and we should not take whatever, we should take only whatever is allotted to us and should leave whatever is not allotted to us. For example, meat eating. So that is left only for the other kind of animals. But we try to encourage upon that, and human beings who are not supposed to eat meat also, they try to enjoy that. So that is infringing on the property of others. So since all the property belongs to Supreme Personality of Godhead, they should be offered to the Lord. Where it says in Bhagavad Gita, Yat karoshi yadasnasi yajjuhosi dadasi yat. So whatever we do, any activity, whatever we do, we should be doing as an offering to the Lord. And so with respect to this proprietorship, Narada Muni has said to Maharaj Yudhishthira. So this is part of 7th canto. We have seen this. So one may claim proprietorship to as much as wealth as required to maintain body and soul together. So we should accrue or we should get the wealth which is sufficient to maintain our body and soul together for this particular lifetime. Now we should not be checking for our furthermore generations, for next 10-20 generations. We should not care. So they should take care of their sins. So, but one who desires proprietorship over more than that must be considered as thief. So whoever is trying to have proprietorship for more than that, he is known as thief and he deserves to be punished by laws of nature. So, yam pashyati na pashyantam chakshur yasya narishyati thambhuta nilayam devam suparnam upadhavata. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly watches the activities of the world, no one sees him. However, one should not think that because no one sees him, he does not see. For his power to see is never diminished. Therefore, everyone should worship the super soul who always stays within the individual soul as friend. So we might think that no one is seeing, and we might be whenever we are isolated or we are alone, we might doing some activities. But if we think that no one is seeing, that is wrong. Here it is said that super Lord as super soul sitting in our heart is always seeing us. and he is a friend of us. So he stays with the individual soul as a friend. So Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. This is what he said in Bhagavad Gita. Nayasyadyantau madhyam cha swah paronantaram bahihi vishwasyamuni yadyasmad vishwam cha tadritam mahat. So what is the characteristics? Na yasya adi antau madhyam. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no beginning, no end, and no middle. Nor he does not belong to a particular person or nation. Swa paro na antaram bahihi. So he is not inside or outside. So he is neither inside nor outside. He has no beginning and middle. And whatever the dualities we have, the happiness, distress, he does not have. And or the universe which emanates from him is an another feature. He is beyond material designations and dualities. So whatever the designations we have, whatever the dualities we have, Lord is transcendental to that. Savishwakaya Puruhuta Ishaha Satya Swayam Jyotirajah Puranaha Dattesya Janma Dyajayatma Satya Tam Vidyayodasya Niriha Aste. The entire cosmic manifestation is the body of Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth. So this entire cosmic manifestation is the body of Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is defined as Virat Rupa, the Absolute Truth, who has millions of names, unlimited potencies. He is self-effulgent, unborn, and changeless. He is the beginning of everything, but he has no beginning. It is said by Brahma, Anadiradir Govinda, because he has created this cosmic manifestation by his external energy, that is Maya. This universe appears to be created, maintained, and annihilated by him. Nonetheless, he remains inactive in his spiritual energy and is untouched by the activities of material energy. So whatever the creation he does, he creates, maintains, annihilated. If we think that he is involved in that, no, he is not. By his external energies, he is creating everything. He is not involved. He is happily sitting in his Goloka, having the pastimes with the Gopabalas, Gopa or Gopikas and everyone. So he is only the external energy of him. He is managing entire cosmic manifestation. So he is the supreme master of everything. Atagre rishaya karman ihante karma hetave ihamano hi purushaha prayo niham prapadyate. So therefore, to enable people, so once the living entity is into this material world, so to enable those people to reach the stage of activities that are not tinged by the fruitive results, great saints first engage people in fruitive activities. For unless one begins performing activities as recommended in Shastras, one cannot reach the stage of liberation or activities that produce no reactions. So when we hear that activities for which no reactions are there, that are akarma. So akarma is doing on behalf of Supreme Lord. So it is said, so here it is clearly the differentiation is given. So people perform fruitive activities in order to reach a stage where they can perform activities which produce no reactions. So karma to akarma. So that is defined. So worshipping the demigods is mentioned in the Shastras, but that is not the ultimate. That is just a stepping stone to the next level. So if we stay there, then that is not the goal of life. So it is a iha to aniha, karma to akarma. Ihate Bhagavan Isho nahi tatra visajjate atmalabena purnardho navasidanti yenutam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is full in opulence by his own gain. So no one has given him opulence. It is his opulence. Yet he acts as the creator, maintainer, and annihilator of the material world. in spite of acting in that way, he is never entangled. Hence, devotees who follow in his footsteps are also not entangled. So, for the Lord, there is no entanglement of how we have. And even whoever the devotees who follow him are also never entangled. That is what it is said here. So, we need to get to that pure devotional stage where we will have that stage. So in that we will not have the entanglement and we will be going back to Godhead. Tamihamanam nirahankritam budam nirasi sampurnamananya choditam drensekshayantam nijavartma samstitam prabhum prapadye kila dharma bhavanam. So, some people might think that Lord Krishna is also doing activities like us. Is he not different from us? He is one of us. So, that is what it is described here. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, works just like an ordinary human beings. Yet, he does not desire to enjoy the fruits of work. So, that is our characteristics. People try to enjoy the fruits of works. He is full in knowledge, free from material desires and diversions, completely independent. We are fully dependent. As the supreme teacher of human society, he teaches his own way of activities, and thus he inaugurates the real path of religion. I request everyone to follow him. So Manu is saying, so he teaches his own activities. Where we have that example, he has taught Bhagavad Gita for the benefit of entire humankind, and thus he inaugurates the real path of religion. So there are many paths of religion explained in Shastra, but where is the real path of religion? It is explained in Bhagavad Gita, last verse which Krishna spoke. Sarva dharman parityarde mam ekam sharanam vraja. So that is the real religion, surrendering only to the Supreme Lord Krishna. So conclusion is, everyone must take shelter of Krishna in order to find that real path of religion where we can elevate ourselves from this material world to the spiritual world. Now we will quickly see what we have earlier saw, that Lord Yajna killed demons. Now we will see who is that Yajna, why he killed the demons. Sri Sukha Uvacha. So the prayers of the Manu is completed. Now again Sukadeva Goswami is continuing. Sri Sukha Uvacha iti mantropanishadam Vyaharantam samahitam drishtva yatudana jagdum abhyadravam kshudha. Sukadeva Goswami continued. Swayambhu Manu was thus in a trance. So he is absorbed in thinking about the Lord and chanting the mantras of Vedic instruction known as Upanishads. So he is chanting the Upanishads. Upon seeing him, the Rakshasas and Asuras, being very hungry, wanted to devour him. Therefore, they ran after him with great speed. So whenever they find the devotees in trance, automatically the demons try to disturb the devotees. Here, the Rakshasas and Asuras are very hungry because they want the demons eat other people. So they wanted to devour him. And they tried to run towards Swayambhu Manu with great speed. Tamstatavasi tanvikshya yagnas sarvagato harihi yamaihi parivruto devair hatva trivishtapam. The Supreme Lord Vishnu, who sits in everyone's heart, appearing as Yagnapati, observed the Rakshasas. Who is Yagnapati? He is the son of Swayambhu Manu. So he observed the Rakshasas and demons who are going to devour the Swayambhu Manu. Thus, Lord, accompanied by his sons named Yamas, by all other demigods, killed the demons and Rakshasas. Then he took the post of Indra and began to rule the heavenly kingdom. So, Yama, because, or Yagnapati, because the demons were trying to kill his father, he attacked the Rakshasas and he killed them. And later he took the post of Indra. So in our table earlier, whatever we had, the sons were known as Yamas and Indra was Yagnapati himself. Activities of Lord Yagna. So he has performed that activity where he saved his father from the demons. Now, the next Manus have been described. So we have seen the Manvantara of Swayambhuva Manu. Now, Sukadeva Goswami quickly explains about the next three Manvantaras also. Swarochiso Dvitiyastu Manurragne Suto Bhavat Dhyumat Susena Rochismat Pramukhastasya Chatmajaha. The son of Agni named Swarochisa became the second Manu. So now, who is the second Manu? Swarochisa. And who were his sons? His several sons were headed by Dhyumat, Susena and Rochismat. So these are the sons. So in the next few verses, it is like, it explains that 6 kinds of categories for every Manvantara. So in the second Manvantara, Manu is Swarochisa. His sons are Dhyumat, Susena and Rochismat. And Tatendro Rochanastvasi Devacha Tushtidadayaha Urjastambadaya Sapta Rishayo Brahmavadinaha. During the reign of Swarochisa, the post of Indra was assumed by Rochana, the son of Yagna. So we know that Yagna was the son of Swayambhuva Manu. His son is Rochana, who assumed a post of Indra. Tushtita and others became the principal demigods. So these are Devas, and Urja and Stamba and others became 7 saints. The Saptarishis are Urja, Stamba and other. So those were headed by these 2. All of them were faithful and devotees of the Lord. Now, the last one was how Lord incarnates in that Manvantara. That is explained in this verse. Rishestu Veda Shirasas Tushtitanama Patnya Bhut Tasyam Jagne Tato Devo Vibur Ityabi Vishrutaha. Veda Shira was a very celebrated rishi. From the womb of his wife, whose name was Tushtita, came the avatara named Vibhu. So the Lord in second Manvantara is known as Vibhu, and his parents are Vedashira and Tushtita. And what are the activities of Vibhu is explained in this verse. So this makes the table complete. Ashtasiti sahasrani munayo ye dritavratah Anvashikshanvritam tasya kaumara brahmacharinaha. So Vibhu remained a brahmachari and never married throughout his life. From him, 88,000 other saintly persons took lessons on self-control, austerity and similar behavior. So in the second Manvantara, Lord activities are, he was brahmachari and he instructed 88,000 sages to perform self-control and austerity. So this is the second limb. As we saw, Manu is Swarochisa, Deva or Tushtita and others. Manuputra are Dhyumat, Susena, Rochismat. Who is the Suraishwara? Rochana, son of Yagna. Yagna is the same person of them. And Rishaya, Urja, Stamba and others. And Amsha Avatara is Vibhu, as we have seen. What are the Lord activities? He has taught self-control and austerity to 88,000 saints. So now we will move to the third Manvantara. Tritiya Uttamo Nama Priyavrata Suto Manuhu Pavanaha Shrinjayo Yagna Hotradyastat Sutanrapa. So, O king, the third Manu, Uttama, was the son of King Priyavrata. So Swayambhuva Manu had 2 sons, Priyavrata and Uttanapada. So the son of Priyavrata, who is known as Uttama, is the third Manu. Among the sons of Manu were Pavana, Shrinjaya and Yagnahotra. So these were the Manuputras. Vasishtha Tanaya Sapta Rishaya Pramadadaya Satyaveda Shruta Bhadra Deva Indrastu Satyajit. During the reign of third Manu, Pramada and others sons of Vasishtha became 7 sages. The Satyas and Vedashrutas and Bhadras became demigods, and Satyajit was selected to be the Indra, king of heaven. We'll see in the table of what who acquired what position. Dharmasya sunrityam tu Bhagavan Purushottamah Satyasena iti kyato jatah Satyavritah Vritai saha. In this Manvantara, which is the third Manvantara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared from the womb of Sunrita, who was the wife of Dharma, the demigod in charge of religion. Dharma is the Yamadharmaraj. So Yamadharmaraj is only specific to this Manvantara. Generally, his post is known as Dharma, who is the in charge of religion. The Lord was celebrated as Satyasena. So Lord is known as Satyasena. He appeared with other demigods known as Satyavratas. So demigods are Satyavratas, Lord is Satyasena, and the parents are Sunrita and Dharma. Sonrita Vrata Duhsilan Asato Yaksharakshasan Bhutadruho Bhutagram Gramas Chavadit Satyajit Sakaha. Satyasena, along with his friend Satyajit, who was the king of heaven. So who is the king of heaven? Satyajit. He is Indra now. King killed all the untruthful, impious, misbehaved yakshas, rakshasas, ghostly living entities who gave pain to other living beings. So here the activities of the Lord have been described. So the Lord, along with his friend who is Indra, killed all these people. So this is the table. Manu is Uttama, son of King Priyavrata. Devas are Satyas, Vedashrutas and Bhadras. And who are the Manu Putras? Pavana, Srinjaya and Yajnahotra. Sura Ishvara is Satyajit, and Rishaya, Pramada and other sons of Vashishta. Who is the Amsha Avatara? Satyasena, and his parents are Dharma and Sunrita. And what are their activities? His activities are, they have killed the miscreants who troubled other living entities. So the last Manvantara is being explained in this. So this is not the last, but when he is saying this Manvantara, Parikshit Maharaj again has the question. So based on that, it stops in this chapter. Chaturda Uttama Bhratra Manur Namna Chatamasaha Prituh Kyatir Nara Ketur Ityadya Dashatat Sutaha. The brother of third Manu, Uttama, was celebrated by the name Tamasa, became fourth Manu. So as we saw, third Manu was Uttama, his brother is Tamasa, he is the fourth Manu. Tamasa had 10 sons. So Manuputras are Pritu, Kyati, Nara, Ketu. Satyakaharayo Veera Devas Trishika Ishvaraha Jyotirdhyam Jyotirdha Amayadya Sapta Rishayastamase. During the reign of Tamasa Manu, the fourth Manvantara, Tamasa Manu, among the demigods were Satyakas, Haris and Veeras. The heavenly king Indra was Trishika. The sages in Saptarishi Dhama were headed by Jyotirdhama. So, few of the our table information is given. Now, demigods were Satyakas, Haris and Veeras. Indra was Trishika and the sages were headed by Jyotirdhama. Deva Vaidhyartho Nama Vidartis Tanayan Rapa Nashta Kalena Yerveda Vidirtha Svena Tejasa. O king, in the Tamasa Manvantara. So based on the name of Manu, that Manvantara is called. So first is Swayambhava Manvantara we call. Similarly, it is mentioned as Tamasa Manvantara. The sons of Vidriti, who were known as Vaidritis, also became demigods. Since in the course of time the Vedic authority was lost, these demigods by their own powers protected the Vedic authority. Tatrapi Jagne Bhagavan Harinyam Harimedasaha Harir Ityo Harir ityardho yena gajendro mochito grahat. Also in this Manvantara, so in the fourth Manvantara, the Supreme Lord Vishnu took birth from the womb of Harini, the wife of Harimeda, and he was known as Hari. Hari saved his devotee Gajendra, the king of elephants, from the mouth of crocodile. So in this verse, Sukadeva Goswami is saying, in the fourth Manvantara, the Supreme Lord Vishnu took birth in the wife of Harimeda, who is known as Harini. And how the Lord was known? The Lord was known as Hari. And what is his activities? He saved his devotee Gajendra from the mouth of crocodile. So this is the information for that particular Manvantara. Tamasa is the Manu. Satyakas, Haris and Veeras, Vaidritis are the Devatas, demigods. Manuputras are 10 sons, headed by Prutu, Kyati, Nara, Ketu. Indra is Trishika. Rishaya, where all the Saptarishis were headed by Jyotirdama. The Amsha or the Lord appeared as Hari, who is son of Harimeda and Harini. And the Lord activities are saved Gajendra from the crocodile. So this is the fourth Manvantara. Before Sukadeva Goswami moves further, now Parikshit wanted to hear that activity of the last verse, whatever we discussed, how Lord saved Gajendra from the crocodile. So that is what the question will be putting forward here. The last section of this chapter. Sri Rajovacha Badarayanah etatte Shrotum Michamahe Vayam Hariryada Gajapatim Graha Grastam Amu Muchat. King Parikshit said, "My Lord Badarayani, we wish to hear from you in detail how the king of elephants, when attacked by a crocodile, was delivered by Hari." So he was very much eager to hear the pastime. Tatkatasu mahatpunyam dhanyam swastyayanam shubham yatra yatrottamo shloko bhagavan giyate harihi. Any literature or narration in which Supreme Personality of Godhead, Uttama Sloka, is described and glorified is certainly great, pure, glorious, auspicious, and all good. So here one thing we need to notice, Parikshit knows that he has only 7 days of his lifetime, but still he is requesting Sukadeva Goswami to tell everything in great detail. So that is how important is this Srimad Bhagavatam. When even Parikshit Maharaj had only 7 days, he was asking Pariprashnena and getting all the information. So there it is very much important to all the humankind, and it is a great fortune for all of us to hearing this pastimes. Now, this is the last verse. Sri Suta Uvacha Parikshitaivam Satubhadarayanihi Prayo Pavishtena Katasu Choditaha Uvacha Vipra Pratinandya Pardivam Muda Muninam Sadesisma Srinvatam. Sri Suta Goswami said, "O Brahmanas, when Parikshit Maharaj, who was awaiting impending death, thus requested Sukadeva Goswami to speak, Sukadeva Goswami, encouraged by the king's words, offered respect to the king and spoke with great pleasure in the assembly of sages who desired to hear him." So as we see, this conversation is happening between the sages of Naimisharanya and Sri Suta Goswami. So this is how Bhagavatam started. And Suta Goswami was explaining how Sukadeva Goswami is narrating the incidents to Parikshit Maharaj. So here Suta Goswami is telling, based on the inquiry of Parikshit Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami started speaking with great pleasure and offering respect to the king in the assembly of sages. So this is how this chapter ends. So this chapter is more of information. So if anyone has any questions, we can discuss. Okay, so it says, what about Lord Rama? Lord Rama is Leela Avatara. Krishna is in Leela Avataras in chart. Then how he is? So he is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because he is performing Leela Avataras, he is there. But it does not mean that the other avatars are similar to Krishna, because he is coming as himself. Ideally, Krishna is not known as Avatara. Krishna is known as Avatari in this. Krishna descends as himself. Okay, please show Shloka 28 and 29.
Avatari means Prabhu?
Avatari means he comes as himself. He will not expand himself into another form. So all the avatars.
So that means Krishna is there in two places. He comes in the human form as Avatari, in the Leela Avatara, and as a Supreme Personality of God in the first one, the Swayamsa.
No. So I'll again explain. So as we saw, we have the different Leela Avataras, right? The three kinds of Vishnus. So whatever the avatars coming out of them are coming from Mahavishnu and other things. But Krishna is directly coming from Goloka. He is not part of this process. So all the avatars are expansions of Balram. But Krishna's avataram, Krishna is not one of those avatars. He comes directly as himself. When we say Krishna is coming as human form, it is Krishna himself. So he is not expanding himself into any other form. So if we see Lord Narasimha and other things, they are expansions of Lord Krishna. But when we see this Krishna's form, he is direct Krishna himself. There is no expansion of him. Yeah, here all these avatars are following the process. So first Krishna expands himself into Balrama, and Balrama expands into Chaturvyuhas, and Chaturvyuhas again expands themselves into multiple Chaturvyuhas. Then from there, this material world incarnation starts. But Krishna is a direct, so Krishna comes directly from Goloka to here. So he does not follow all these processes like coming from Balram and taking a form. So that is the difference between other avatars and Lord Krishna himself. Okay, there are...
What about Dasavataras, Prabhuji?
All are Leela avatars, Prabhu.
So Rama is not there in that list only?
These are only the prominent ones which have been placed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there are many avatars.
Only the important ones, not all.
Yeah, not all.
Okay. Prabhuji, what about Venkateshwara?
Venkateshwara is also Leela Avatara. So he performed. It was
missing in the chart. But we pray normally every day.
Yeah.
Not confused.
No. So that was one picture.
See, for example, Murugan is there, Venkateshwara is there, Ganesha is there.
No, lot.
Which we pray every day.
Correct, Prabhu. So lot of them are there. But this was one picture which was just depicting whatever the avatars which we were discussing. So the different kinds of Leela avatars, Purusha avatars and other things. But yeah, Lord has unlimited forms. And yeah, so when we say Ganesha, it is like, he is a living entity. He took the form of the post of that heading of the Shiva Ganas. So he
Prabhuji,
is
the Narayana which worship.
Yeah, Narayana is Purusha Avatara.
Vishnu Sahasranamam or Om Namo Narayana, what we do. It is which Vishnu? Garbhodaya, Karnodaya?
It is mixture of everything. No, it is mixture of everything. All are Narayanas. So Mahavishnu himself is known as Narayana. And even Garbhodaksha is Narayana. So when we see this Vaikuntha planets, so in Vaikuntha or in the Goloka, we have Goloka and we have different Vaikunthas. And in that Narayana's Vaikuntha is there, and whoever is attached to the form of Narayana, they will be going into that spiritual world. And whoever is attached to Krishna, they will be going directly to the Goloka. So these all are spiritual planets. If someone is attached to the form of Lord Narsingha, there is a eternal planet in the spiritual world of Narsimhadev. So whoever form
But
we
what
attach.
about Puri Jagannath? It
Yeah,
is
Jagannath
Goloka.
is Krishna himself. Jagannath
So
is
it will go to
Krishna,
Goloka.
Balram and Subhadra Devi.
Oh, that's what. So Jagannath, if you worship, you will go to Goloka Vrindavan.
Yeah.
If you worship Venkateshwara, you will go to Vaikunta.
Yes.
Narasimha, some Vaikunta.
Yeah.
Like that.
There are different
So
planets
that means
in the Vaikuntas. Yes, bro.
these are the doubts I had, which I wanted to talk actually. Today I
Okay,
got clear many
maybe
of
we
them.
need to discuss one session of this cosmic manifestation creation. In that, everything will get cleared.
Which one, Prabhuji?
Yeah. So who will be going to where? How many Vaikunta planets are there, etc.
That is in which canto?
That will be in the third canto, when second canto and third canto, when the creation of this universe will be explained. Second canto, it is
I'll try to read.
briefly described in second canto. In third canto, it is in detail explained. The creation of the cosmic manifestation.
Prabhuji, while we are worshipping Krishna, we are telling, oh no, Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Yes, Prabhu.
That is to pray the Vishnu, right?
Vasudevaya, son of Vasu, is the Krishna.
So that means Vishnu, that is Mahavishnu, or the Vishnu, that is Karnodaya
Garbhodaya Vishnu,
that is Vishnu,
Karnodaya Vishnu.
Garbhodaya Vishnu, which is Vishnu with Lakshmi Devi, is not equivalent to Krishna, right?
Yeah, he is not equivalent. So he is the first expansion. So Mahavishnu is the first. His form only. He is the first expansion, but he is not equal. So he is.
Okay, Prabhuji.
So in fact, Mahavishnu is also an expansion of Balrama, and Balrama is the first expansion of Krishna. So Krishna stays there in Goloka.
That is not there in the chart. That Balrama word is not there, Prabhuji.
This
that
is only
Mahavishnu
material world. Whatever,
they're given as Purusha Avatar only.
Yes, whatever I have shown you, that is specific to material world. So this expansion happens in spiritual world. So spiritual world, Krishna first expands as Balrama, and later Krishna stays there. Balrama will take care of all these things. So that's what we call as this Aniruddha, Sankarshana.
These details where it is given, Prabhu. These details where it is given.
I'll post it in the group.
These details where it is given.
It is given in Bhagavatam. I'll give the references.
No, which canto? Which canto?
It should be in the third canto, Prabhu, but I'm not exactly sure.
Third canto, sorry, okay. I want to read. I'm really confused about all this.
Sure, Prabhu. I'll share it
because
across.
We are praying for so many years, so many gods. And now everything is totally changed. I accept Krishna, Supreme Personality God. But yes. I want to know the reasoning and the thing. If somebody asks me, I should be able to answer them also.
Prabhu, simple. You go through the third canto. Yeah, you go through the third canto end to end. Everything is there. How Lord Brahma got created. What is the first activity he tried to do? How he saw Supreme Personality of Godhead. What Narayana or Vishnu spoke to Brahma. And later he created the secondary universe. So in the
second canto, last few chapters, and third canto, I should read.
Yes.
Okay, I'll read.
Everything is there very clearly.
Prabhuji, next slide, Prabhuji. 29.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Prabhuji, one basic question actually. How to get mercy of Krishna, Prabhuji? Krishna or any god?
This is again a general question.
Actually, Prabhuji, once if we want to go to temple, Prabhuji, sometimes then it happens that we are not able to go by some situations. So then we say it's a mercy of Lord also should be there. So in I want to know the distinction between when we have to think that this is Krishna's mercy that we are not able to attend, or when we have to think that it is our fault that we are not able to do.
Okay, Mataji. So ideally, we have discussed in the Nectar of Instructions that different stages of bhakti. So ideally, first, right, whenever, if we want to get the mercy of Lord, ideally our heart should be cleansed of the material desires. And how do we get that cleanse of material desires? Basically, it is with the association of great Vaishnavas. So we will be having association of Vaishnavas around us, and we need to have, because that Bhakti Lata beach, there are only two people who can plant that seed of bhakti in our heart. One is Supreme Lord himself, and another is our spiritual master. So one need to approach the spiritual master, as said in Bhagavad Gita, with a right attitude, not in a challenging mode. So when we reach to that spiritual master, the seed of that bhakti will be planted in our heart. And with that, so with the association of, so the devotees around us will be making sure that we are constantly engaged. Our enthusiasm is never ending. But our spiritual master will be giving us the guidance of what exactly we need to do. So once we come to that stage, we will think that whatever is happening in our life, that is mercy of Krishna. It is not like bad things are not mercy of Krishna, good things are not mercy of Krishna. Whatever is happening, if Krishna is giving us troubles, what did Kunti Maharani said? Kunti Maharani said, give me more troubles, because in case if I am happy, I might forget you. So give me more troubles so that I can always remember you. With the stage of Kunti Maharani, even if she is happy, she will never forget Krishna. She is at that transcendental stage. But she herself is saying, give me more problems, so that I can constantly remember you. So whatever is happening, we should be in the devotees association. We should be under the shelter of a authorized bona fide guru, so that we will be having our activities to please devotees and the Supreme Personal. So first target is we need to please Supreme Personal or the Supreme Lord. But how to please the Supreme Lord is by serving devotees. So both are interrelated. So we need to please Supreme Lord, that will please the devotees. We need to please the devotees, that will please the Supreme Lord.
So Prabhuji, as you said, the seed should be planted by the mercy of Supreme Lord. So in order to get the seed planted, what steps we have to take, or can we pray for somebody who is a non-devotee?
No, everyone's boat is their boat only. So in spiritual thing, I have my boat, my kid has his boat, my wife has her boat. So we can pray for them that, okay, so please give them opportunity so that they can practice devotional service and they can find their own. But we cannot, like, on behalf of them, we cannot do activities. We can pray for them.
Mm-hmm. So that seed has to be planted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Initial
So that mercy, it is not like a physical any planting, but it is the mercy of, it is the mercy of Supreme Personality of God, the Supreme Lord, and with the our spiritual master, because we need to be accountable to someone, right? If we are not accountable to someone, for example, if I'm chanting 16 rounds, right? Sometimes I say, okay, I did not give any vow to any person till this point. Okay, for today, I can skip this. So that might happen. But when you took that shelter to your spiritual master, you will feel, okay, if I don't do this, then my vow will break. So you will continue your sadhana in a proper way. So when we continue our sadhana in proper way, everything will get all right. So in devotional service, it is not like we are going to, so we will not, it is not like we will not get any distresses. But the only thing is we will get that strength to face that distresses.
Yes.
Yeah, because there are a lot of devotees who faced many problems. But never ever you will see a Vaishnava giving up Lord Krishna's service, so worship. So in any case studies or in any scriptures or whatever the stories we heard, there was never a Vaishnava. They gave up Lord service when they had the troubles, because they know that that is the ultimate path. Whatever the happiness gives, that is the Lord mercy. Whatever the trouble is giving, that is also Lord mercy. Yeah, Mataji, please go ahead.
So Prabhuji, yesterday only I had discussion with my sister. So I was telling that our acharyas has promised us that if we chant 16 rounds daily and we follow the 4 regulative principles, we are sure to go to Goloka. So she was asking me how you can tell that, how you will do that and all. So she's an architecture student. I told her that there is a theory for you that if in the initial 4 years of course, first year you will learn how much dimensions and all you have to take, how much length of the rod should be there to place the weight and all. So already they are proved by some standards and you are following that. That is the theory part. So I am also in the theory part, and some practicals are also done, and like Bhakta Tukaram, he has went directly walking to the Goloka. We have seen all that, and those things are there in the scriptures. But he's asking me always how you are sure, how you will prove me and all. I also told that these COVID vaccines are there. So how we will see, how we are sure that those vaccines will work.
Yes,
There is an
Mataji,
IRDA association and all.
yes,
So we have
Mataji,
faith.
yeah. So
So
this architect said, because I am also one kind of architect in my company. See, it is very simple. See, when we see a leaning building, right? So when we talk of architects, if one person sees a building which is a bit slight, one person might think, okay, this is fine, but engineer might see, he says, here it is wrong, here it is wrong. How we can identify? Or even if it is straight, engineer might come and say, there is a problem with this building. How he knows? Because with his experience, because he has studied that thing and he knows in and out of building or constructing the buildings. So just seeing that building, he will say that, okay, there is a problem here and this is happening. So even if we want to experience that Lord is there, first we need to get into that. So even if you don't join school and say that how you can get 10th class, so that might not work. So first, because there are a lot of devotees who are very much intelligent, very much materially well established people in the Western world, they have experienced a jolly in this devotional service. How can we expect a person who is experiencing the topmost material life to wake up early every morning at 3:30 and doing Mangalarti, going out for book distributions and keeping that constantly for his entire lifetime? So is anyone paying for him? No. Why he has sacrificed his life? Because he is having that happiness in his heart, that eternal happiness. All the thing which we are doing in this life is to find happiness. But once we experience that real happiness, we know that Lord is there. So we can experience that Lord is there. So only by our experience, because we know that when we come to this platform, we can understand that, okay, there is a real happiness, there is a illusory happiness. So tell her to try, and if that doesn't work, she can again take a path. But again, once she comes, automatically, because by the mercy of Supreme Lord, because Supreme Lord is seated in everyone's heart, whenever one takes one step, Supreme Lord will take 10 steps towards them. So it is, yeah. You can
okay,
tell,
Prabhuji.
give a try.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Because, yeah.
Even I told her that once Srila Prabhupada was also asked by some devotee same question like this. So how you can be sure that you will reach Krishna only at the time of death and all? And if at that time you find all this is trash, then how you will do that? You are wasting all the time. Means Srila Prabhupada told that we are not wasting time. We are having very much happiness. We are having prasadam, we are doing kirtans, we are very much happy in our own way. So what about you? If you know that at the time of death Krishna is there and I should have practiced and all, you will be at the loss. We are not at the loss. So even I told her that also, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mother. See,
But still
simple.
she's not
Uh,
convinced.
yeah, simple. Whatever Prabhupada said, right? See, if there are a lot of people in this, so consider in this COVID scenario, there are a lot of people outside, and when they got COVID, even their relatives, they abandoned them. But when it is case of devotees, right? In our community, when few people got COVID, we had a separate flats for them, and all the devotees, they were cooking, they were serving, they were going here and there, they were searching, and it is like not a small family. When you are with devotees, it is like a big family. Even for small events, you will find hundreds of people. But for when you are completely in material mode, right? If you get 100 people, that much complexity adds to your events. So one person will say this is not right, one person will say that is not right. So when they experience this stuff, they will understand. Even recently, we had one small event. The photographer who was taking the event, capturing that event, he was astonished. He knows that all the people are working somewhere, but he is asking why these people are doing all these activities. One is taking or carrying some chairs here, one is carrying water bottles, one is setting up the chairs. He is asking why these people are all doing, can't they call the tent house people? It is like out of love, devotees will be doing activities for other devotees. So you will find a big family when you take, because ultimately Krishna is the father. When we all think that we are all parts and parcels of him, we know that even the person in other place is also a son or part and parcel of Krishna. We are all a big family. Once we understand that, everything will get in line. So constantly, yeah, you get her to events. Someone will strike her with the same attitude. You find some architect in the devotee and tell them to converse, they will talk and it will happen.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you very much. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. So yeah, based on the time constraint, we will have closed the session today. Tomorrow, we will start with Gajendra Moksha. That is very important or very amazing pastime where Lord came running from Vaikunta to this world to save a devotee. That is an amazing pastime for the next 3 chapters. Yeah, we will continue that tomorrow morning. Hare Krishna.